Real quick, before we get into anything, I just want to apologize for the Sonic Dash footage. Usually when I do videos like this where I'm, like, talking over gameplay footage, I like to play something a bit more sophisticated. As you may know, my laptop recently broke, so my options for talking over games are now limited to mobile games and PS4 games. And I didn't want to do live talking because I wanted more, like, options to edit over. So that's why you're watching footage of Sonic Dash instead of something a bit more sophisticated. Anyways, for the past, like, 1.5 to 2 years, I have been experiencing these, like, blackout episodes, and I always thought they were faints. They didn't really fit the profile of fainting, but I didn't know what else it could be. Until like a week or two ago, I had one during, while I was doing cabaret, and somebody pointed out, they were like, hey, that looks like a seizure. So I was like, that's not good. So I went to the hospital, I went to the ER, they ran an EKG. Mind you, this was like 2 hours after the seizure. They ran an EKG at the ER, which isn't even really the right test. That came back normal. They basically told me I was fine and sent me home. If you're chronically ill, this is probably the least surprising anecdote you've ever heard. Doctors oftentimes don't take things like that super seriously. Anyways, now, like, I want to say 3 days ago, I was at school. I had one in my class, in my math class. So my math teacher called paramedics because she's a mandated reporter. And so I was taken to a different hospital. And that is where we kind of get to, I guess, the good part, more or less. Because this new hospital was very good, took it very seriously. They gave me some questions, checked me out, make sure I wasn't, like, brain damaged from the seizure itself, asked me questions, realized this was, like, a super bad ongoing issue, and admitted me to the hospital. So I spent, like, a day just, like, in a room, just being generally checked on, and then they ran... Technically, it's, like, a 24-hour EEG, but it didn't actually last the full 24 hours, because I had enough episodes in that time frame for them to not need to do it the full 24 hours. So they did an EEG, which, if you are unaware, basically they have a bunch of wires on your head, look at your brain waves, and they also had a camera so that they could see the physical symptoms and see if it correlated to the brain waves. Because in epilepsy, basically your brain is, like, electrocuting itself. So in epileptic patients, there would be a correlation where the physical symptoms of the seizure would line up with abnormal brain function. So that's what the EEG was for. And they found that it was not epileptic seizures because there wasn't the abnormal brain activity which comes with epilepsy. Now, this is good because epilepsy can be very dangerous. However, when I was told that, as somebody who has been medically gaslit many times, I'm a fully verbal autistic person with fibromyalgia, so, like, I'm used to medical gaslighting. As somebody who has very rarely had success with the medical system, especially when it comes to chronic illness, when they told me it wasn't epilepsy, obviously that's good because it's less dangerous, but I was stressed because I'm like, great, now I'm not going to get treated. That's not what happened. Thankfully, the hospital I went to was very good, and we're like, okay, so you have non-epileptic seizures, which is a thing, and I'm being treated for that now, instead of it being brushed off. So, great, non-epileptic seizures, but, like, what specifically is wrong? Because this isn't an acute issue. Again, this has been going on for like 2 years. So what's wrong? Well, in terms of, like, medical diagnoses, they didn't really tell me anything except, hey, non-epileptic seizures made worse by stress, and then prescribed me a medication. After doing some more research into it, it looks like, based on everything they told me, it looks like it's PNES. Yes, I'm aware that sounds and looks like the word penis. Haha, very funny. Which is psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. Looking more into it, basically, instead of in epilepsy, again, the seizures are because your brain is electrocuting itself. In PNES, it's not that. Instead, it has to do with an imbalance / abnormality in your brain between your like emotional / mental part of your brain that handles like feelings and stuff, and your motor function. So basically, instead of all of the wires short-circuiting, or however you want to analogize how epilepsy works, instead of all of the wires malfunctioning at once, going off at once, whatever, your wires are just crossed wrong. So that's why stress is a trigger, because instead of stress necessarily, obviously I have anxiety, so I know what that feels like, but some who've got stress is instead causing these seizure episodes. So, in terms of treatment, they gave me what's basically an anxiety med, because, again, stress is, like, one of the main triggers. So, they can't just give me, like, seizure meds, because most seizure meds are for epilepsy, and I don't have epilepsy, so throwing epilepsy meds at me isn't going to do anything. So instead, the method is to try to treat underlying issues that are contributing to the seizures. They prescribed me a medication, which is kind of hitting like 10 birds with one stone. It should help with the seizures. It should also help with my anxiety in general. It's an antidepressant, so that's good because I do have major depressive disorder, and the therapy doesn't work, so, you know, medication for that is good. There was one other thing. Oh, and it treats pain from fibromyalgia. So if it works well enough for that, I might even be able to also go off of the medication I'm already on for fibromyalgia, which would be nice, because then that means less pills to take. So yeah, that's basically it. Just, I got very lucky with the hospital and the doctors I got, that it was taken seriously and that I'm being treated now. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, non-epileptic seizures. They are in fact a real thing. They really suck. Obviously, pros and cons, because like, not taken as seriously by a lot of doctors in general, but also less dangerous than epilepsy. But yeah, so that's what's been going on with me. That's why I was in a hospital. I am glad that I am getting treated now and can feel better. Also, I just want to say, a lot of times when I talk about my health online, I get a lot of comments that are like pitying me or being like sympathetic, and I understand it comes from a place of like kindness, so I'm not mad about it. I don't like it. I am disabled, I am chronically ill, I'm mentally ill. It is what it is. I feel weird when people kind of like pity me for that, because it's just kind of my existence. Like, that's just kind of part of who I am. Please don't feel sorry for me. I'm okay. I just wanted to give a little health update, because, yeah, I cataloged my life on here. Bye.